world, Leon here, and this is how you install Web3.Unreal. We're going to do this project from scratch, so first thing we do is launch Epic Games, then launch the Unreal game engine. We're going to give this a second, and we're going to build this project onto my desktop so you can see everything right here on the top right corner. So here's the project location to desktop. We're going to keep a really basic blueprint, and we're going to call the project My Project. All right, let's hit create. Next is to install the Web3 Unreal package. Now there are two ways of doing it. The first is through the marketplace, and the second is through the GitHub repository. So let's do the repository first, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to minimize this and install the package. First, go to the Game7 DAO GitHub. Under here, there's a repository called Web3.Unreal. Click code and download the zip. Now that it's downloaded, I can unzip it. I'm going to rename it Web3.Unreal so it's easy to understand. And to install it, just open your project, right-click, create a new folder called Plugins with a capital P, and drag in this file. Everything should be packaged nicely and it should work out of the box. Next is to restart the game. So let's close this and restart Unreal. And to do so, I'll just go to my project and double click my projects. There should be a pop-up that says, do you want to rebuild? This is rebuilding the binaries for your computer. So I'm going to click yes. And there should be a folder called binaries, which is specific for whatever operating system you have. So in this case, it's going to be the Mac. Here. We'll give this a few seconds. Unreal should launch and have all the Web3.Unreal packages ready to go. So to check if it's installed correctly, we can go to Content Drawer on the bottom left. Under Content, First Person, Blueprints, we can click on any of these just to see if it's installed or not. So I'll do First Person Shooter. And I'm going to right click. And under Search, you can either search or scroll down. You should see Web3.Unreal. So it's right here. And we have all of these different functions we can pull out of the box. So these are examples such as calling a smart contract. So you can read state. Now RPC calls, you can see the current block number, for example, sending a contract, so to update state of a smart contract. We also have helpers, ways to hash, ways to sign, and different functions. So in the next video, we're going to go through some of these functions. Hello world, Leon here, and today we're going to connect Web3.Unreal to a wallet. In the previous video, we're able to get information from the blockchain, but we need a wallet to interact with it. So for this specific demo, we're going to get the address of your current wallet. So to do so, we need a wallet. If you scroll down to the Web3.Unreal, you can see that Web3.Unreal connects to different wallets, such as MetaMask, Wallet Connect, and Hyperplay. So Hyperplay is a game store built specifically for Web3 games. So Hyperplay has a baked-in wallet, MetaMask, that we can use to connect to. So the first thing we need is to install Hyperplay. So go to hyperplay.xyz, download the launcher, and the launcher should look like so. You have different games you can download and play, and the launcher itself has a wallet that's the same address as you would have on your browser. So we're going to connect to this specific address here. Okay, so let's get started. First, launch the Unreal Editor. Go to Content Drawer and create a class. I already have a blueprint called Web3 Demo from the previous video. I'm going to open this. And in here, we're going to have 3 steps. First step is on start, get the address, and display it on the screen on the top left-hand corner. So I'm going to right-click, go down to Web3.Unreal. Unreal. Here it is. And under helpers, there is a function called get accounts. So I'm going to click this, and it's going to ask for the chain ID. So in this example, we'll use 1, which is Ethereum mainnet. We're going to connect here, and we're going to leave chain metadata empty. Okay. Now that we have the address, let's display it on the screen. Right click, print. And on response output, I'm going to display the address. So I'm going to display it here, and I'm going to display it for 10 seconds. All right. I'm going to hit play, and you should see the address on the top left-hand corner. Okay, so here's the address, 0xdd4. Let's verify on Hyperplay, 0xdd4. This looks good. We're connected. Now in the next video, we're going to do some interactions and see what else we can do with this integration. Thank you. We're going to use Web3.Unreal's RPC's functionality to get information about a blockchain. In this example, it's going to be Ethereum mainnet, and we're going to get the block number. So let's get started. First is go to content drawer on the bottom left-hand corner, and go to your blueprint section. I'm going to create one here, a new blueprint. So I'm going to right-click, blueprint class. I'm going to call this actor. It's up to you. And I'm going to call this Web3 demo. Okay. I'm going to add this class into the scene so it runs. That looks good. Next, I'm going to open the blueprint class, go to event graph, and delete everything unnecessary. Okay. So under here, what we're doing is on event play, we're going to get the block number and display it on the screen. So let's do that. So first is to get the block info. So I'm going to right click under search, or we can scroll down to Web3.Unreal. We're going to go to generic. Under here, there's an RPC call. So first thing is we're going to connect this here, and it's going to ask for some information. So the first is the request body. So to get this request JSON blob, we can check the documentation under the ethereum.github.io. Now I'm going to scroll down. We can use any of these RPC calls, but for this example, we're going to use the eth_block number. So we can click try now to see what the JSON blob looks like. So this is what it is, version 2.0. Here's the method. There are no params, and it's ID 0. So I'm going to copy this and paste it under request. Okay, so that's done. Next is to get the chain ID. So every blockchain has a different chain ID. To check what chain ID you're on, you can go to something like chain list, and each chain here has a certain ID. So Polygon is 137, Ethereum mainnet is 1. So this looks correct. Next is the chain metadata. We're going to leave this empty. And lastly is the URL. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to replace it with a URL also listed on chain list. So I'm going to go here, click the drop down, and we have different URLs we can connect to. I'm going to use the first one and paste it in here. Okay, so everything's looking good. Last is to print it out. So let's right click and type in print. So we're going to print string. And on response output, I'm going to tie it here. I'm going to print the response. So this here. And I'm going to display it a little bit longer than 2 seconds, maybe 10. All right, so everything looks good. To recap, on start, it's going to get the block number, and it's going to display it on the screen on the top left-hand corner. So let's give it a go. All right. So you can see here that there is a result, 0x11CE. So we can also see this in the logs. So what does this mean? So if you scroll down, you can see this 0x11EE. This is the hex of the block number. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to convert it to something that we can read. So let's go to the hexadecimal converter, paste it in, and convert. So the block number is 1867, somewhere around there. And to verify, we can go to any block explorer. I'll just go here, refresh the page, and you can see that it is 1867. So that's how you get the block number using RPC calls with Web3.Unreal. Thanks. Hello world, Leon here, and today we're going to use Web3 Unreal to read state from a smart contract. So reading state meaning getting information from a specific smart contract, such as the token name, the token balance, the game state, did they win, did they lose, that type of information. So let's get started. First thing is to go to content drawer, create a new blueprint class. So I have one called Web3 demo. And on start, we're going to create a Web3 call function. So under Web3 Unreal, generic Web3 call contract. And we have all of this information here. So first thing we do is connect, then fill out the rest of this information. So in this specific demo, we're going to get the token name of Tether. Under contract, you should have a read contract. And all of these are read functions or call contracts that you can get from. Let's get the name. So Tether USDT. Okay. So under the contract address, we're going to get the contract address here, right? Token contract. We're going to copy this, paste it in. Next is the function name. So the function name is name, right? Which is the same here, right? Name, deprecated, total supply, so on and so forth. Next is the ABI. To get the ABI, go to contract. Under code, there's a contract ABI, and this is used to interact with the smart contract. So it knows what functions to call, what's payable, what's not, and what's available to read. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here. Okay. And under params are parameters you can pass in to get something specific. For example, you can get under balance of, you can pass in the param of the address and get the balance of that address. In this example, there is no param, so we're going to leave it empty. So to do that, I'm going to right click and make an array. Make array here. And connect it. And I'm going to remove this first value. So this basically means it's an empty array. Gas limit, -1. Way is 0. Chain ID is 1, which is Ethereum mainnet. And we'll also leave this empty. Okay, so that's it. Next is to display it. So I'm going to right click, print, and on output, I'm going to display the response. All right, so to recap, first step is on event begin play, get all of this information here, and call the name function. And from the response, display it on the screen on the top left-hand corner. Hit play. And on the top left, it should say Tether USD. All right, and you can verify it here. Tether USD. All right, and that's how you read from a smart contract. Thank you. Hello world, Leon here, and today we're going to use Web3.Unreal to interact with a smart contract. So how the flow works is you're going to have your Web3.Unreal library to create your transaction. That transaction gets sent to Hyperplay, which is a game store. Inside the game store, there is a wallet called MetaMask to sign the transaction and broadcast it to the Ethereum network. Once that's done, you will get a transaction sent back into your game. So that's how it works. So let's get started. First step is to go to content drawer on your bottom left. Open up your blueprint class. I created one called Web3 Demo. In here, we're going to have 3 pieces. The first piece is going to be on begin play. Second is the Web3 library. So I'm going to right click, scroll down to Web3 Unreal, go to generic, and we're going to send the contract. So we're updating state or information about the smart contract. So in here, it's going to ask for some information. First is the contract address. So we're going to interact with a smart contract listed here. So here's the contract. In here, it has a public function called public mint, And by calling this function, it's going to mint about 100 tokens into your wallet. So let's interact with this contract. So to do so, copy the contract address, paste it under contract address. Next is the function name. So if you go back, we're going to use the write function, right? Public mint, that's the name. So public mint. Next is the ABI. So the ABI can be found under code. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll find the ABI. I'm going to copy this. And this is used to interact with your smart contract. So it knows what functions to call, what's available, what's not. Okay. Next are the params. So if you notice, the smart contract call public mint does not have any params, right? So it will be empty. So I'm going to create an empty array. Connect it here. And I'm going to remove this first element. Right click, remove element. All right. Now that everything's done, we'll leave everything the same. So gas limit is the same, value and weight is the same, but the chain ID, I'm going to change it to 5. So 5 is a testnet chain ID, also known as girly. So let's use this. And the last bit is to print this all out. So I'm going to right click, print, and on response output, I will display the response. So it will display on the top left-hand corner right here. So I'm going to make the duration a little bit longer so we can see what it's about. Okay, so now everything's set up. When I click play, there's going to be a pop-up on Hyperplay to interact with the smart contract. The transaction would get sent to the blockchain, and you'll get back the response. So let's do it. Hit play. Here is the pop-up. It's asking to call the public mint function. You can check the data to make sure everything is correct. And if everything looks good, you can hit confirm. And you'll get back a transaction hash listed here. Here we are. So here's the transaction information. We can then use this to verify on-chain. And that's how you interact with a smart contract using Web3.Unreal. Thanks.